Girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are back with a brand new review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 3 Episode 6. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. So when the episode first opens up, we start with Mel J. Blige, honey, still putting on a show. And Destiny is like, this is my issue with your cold brewed tea. And she's talking to Tiffany, right? And so then, Mel is like, well, what was your issue? Just tell us what your issue was, honey, because y'all know how Mel like to do. So Destiny was like, okay, so to Tiffany, this was my issue with your cold brewed tea. Okay, you brought it there to my birthday. It could have messed my birthday up, and it was something that was really irrelevant. She said it wasn't the time or the place, honey, and I agree. So then Tiffany said, well, originally, I was just referencing, where I met you before. Okay, then you should have left it there, tasteless Tiff. Honey, there's no reason for you to keep regurgitating. Well, wait a minute, where did I meet you? Because you knew exactly where you met her. You were for the foolishness, you were for the mess, and you brought the mess to the table. And that's what you wanted to do, and that's what you did, honey. And y'all ain't gonna convince me otherwise. So then she's like, you didn't have anything to say that day? Honey, she definitely couldn't say anything because she probably would have popped off. Did y'all see how she did, Mel, when they had their little get together? Sure. So Destiny said, I sure didn't because I was trying to figure out who is this woman and what is she talking about? So then Mel said, can we just agree? Destiny said, no. Honey, I know that's right. I'm not agreeing to nothing until this heifer agreed to her distasteful timing. And that's that on that. I was talking about, can you just agree? So Mel said, well, can we agree that it was no ill intent? How are you going to tell her what the intent was? Destiny said, I'm going to say how I feel. Mel, you and your sombrero, honey, pipe down. Girl, anyway. Mel said, and that's fine. And Tiffany can say, it could have been a sidebar or we could have talked about it on the side. Tiffany said, look, I didn't mean to upset you and I'm truly sorry. And then, Destiny accepted and whatnot. But honey, this is the thing. Tiffany said, I knew I wasn't being shady. So the best way to dead it is to apologize and move forward. I'm still side-eyeing Tiffany. That apology was not sincere. It wasn't genuine. And it was oh, girl, I'm sorry, honey. Shut the hell up. Okay, got it. All right, girl. I'm sorry, girl. Honey, you just want to hear up and shut up so y'all can be moving forward. So then Mel said, we need to get ready to play this game. So Destiny was like, oh, yeah, let's play the game. We gonna get naked? Destiny, honey, I know you brand new and fresh off of a marriage, honey, but please don't get naked with these heifers. So Mel was like, no, we're going to play Mel's card game or talk about it party or some silly stuff like that. So they'll each get a card that says never, I have never, or guilty, right? So Mel asked the question, have you ever been a side chick? Child, they throwing up these cards and Destiny held up, I would never and guilt. So Mel was like, how can you be guilty and you've never? So Destiny was like, oh, well, it was before I knew he had a relationship. So Tisha, Tiffany, and Mel, they all held up, I have never, right? Kimmie, on the other hand. Kimmie, honey. Kimmie said, are we starting at college? Honey, not are we starting at university. Not are we starting at when I started accumulating student loan debt. Girl. Girl, please. Tisha said, Kimmie, you been a side chick before? Well, honey, the streets are talking. Somebody get Kyle on the line. Let's hear what she got to say. Kyle. But, baby, let me tell y'all something. The confusion on Kimmie's face, that was all I needed to know. All I want to know is who created this game? Not Mel creating these questions to further expose her crew. Honey, y'all ain't fooling me. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when Nene had that pillow talk season 7. And they got to asking questions. And then all of a sudden, Candy got up and she started telling people she was going to drag them in this bit. And Charlie was a mess. And Apollo was fighting Brandon. And Brandon was fighting Apollo. Charlie was a mess. And that's exactly what these messy questions are reminding me of. Pillow talk. So then Tisha said, how often do you think a man should receive oral pleasure? So they were like, well, birthdays, holidays. So Mel looked at Kimmie. She said, about how often do you do it now? So Kimmie said, weekly or every other week. Mel was like, oh, I'm surprised because Kimmie's very sexual. So I was thinking she was going to say at least more than that. Child, Kimmie work. And she works in healthcare. And it's a whole pandemic going on. Child, nobody got time to be on their knees all night long for Maurice. Child, please. So Kimmie said, well, how often were you giving it, Mel? She said, towards the end of the marriage, almost every day. Girl, I don't know now, honey. I don't know. That ain't what Hotel said. Hotel Hope said you wasn't doing nothing at all, okay? Child, and I wish I would jab my jaws for cheating Peen Martell. So she said once it was verbalized that he needed that, that's what she did. But even if they were doing it all the time, they would still be divorced today because Martell likes to cheat, cheat, cheat. Shout out to me. So next question is, would you have a threesome with your mate? So here goes Destiny holding up these two cards again. Sis, just hold up guilty. Okay, whatever they asking sexual, just hold up guilty because it seems like you into the kink of it all. So just hold it up, sis. Own it. So then Kimmie said, when we first started dating, Maurice said I only have one request, and that's to have a threesome, right? So they were like, well, did you say yes? She was like, yeah, I said sure. She was like, but the plot twist is, I said, I think you better call Tyrone. Shout out to Erica Badu. Honey, she was like, look, you better call Tyrone because it ain't happening. If it ain't another man and me and you and him, we ain't doing nothing. Child, I know that's right. And they were like, well, I know he didn't go for that. So then Destiny said, but that don't mean y'all don't think about it, right? So Kimmie said, y'all call him. Y'all call him and ask him right now, and I bet he'll give you a name. I think it's Mel. Who y'all think it is? I definitely think it's Mel. So Tisha said, is Destiny in that rotation? Kimmie said, he wouldn't say Destiny. Child, she might not be in that rotation, but she want to be, honey. So Destiny was like, oh, I thought it was me. Kimmie said, no, you did not. You did not think it was you, honey. Yes, she did. So here goes Destiny recanting this story about Kimmie touching her when she had on this black dress. Listen, Destiny gonna get her a member of Kimmie's family if it's the last thing she does, honey. First, the son got a crush on you and now the mama? Girl gone. So Kimmie said, I rub everybody. Because she was like, he was rubbing on me. She said, I rubbed on Martell and everybody else. Here go Tisha. She better not rub on Marceau. Kimmie said, okay. Child, she was not about to debate her at all. Girl, don't nobody want to touch Marceau, but you and those 20 women, allegedly. Girl, please. So Mel was like, oh, y'all so honest. Well, speaking of opening up, honey, nobody was speaking of opening up, but go ahead and set yourself off. She said, we did a co-parenting class, me and Martell. And, I just feel like, and I'm thinking to myself, how do we go from threesomes to co-parenting classes? Child, this is a fool. So Mel starts talking about boundaries, right? And so Destiny just busted out. Boundaries are pertinent to life. Destiny, honey, I don't know if you're a little bit tipsy. I don't know what's in the margaritas or what is happening, but she was definitely talking, okay? You did interrupt the woman, okay? Because I know a lot of people are saying, well, she and Mel going off and this and that. Listen, Destiny was wrong in this moment. She interrupted her while she was speaking. So Mel, being the passive-aggressive person that she is, turns around and says, can I finish? And she's like, but I was speaking. And she was like, but I was talking and you interrupted me. So, honey, they going back and forth and back. And Tisha was like, what is happening with the BFF? Oh, my God. Tisha, just please. So then Mel mentions how Destiny waited a month and a half to tell her about her divorce. Now, why this had anything to do with her co-parenting with Martell is beyond me. Destiny said, look, I already didn't want to come to this because Tiffany was going to be here and I'm just really not feeling this. So Destiny said, yeah, the food was great and all of this and everything else, honey, but I got to go. Then she gets up and walks into the darkness. Be careful, sis. Moving forward. Tisha goes to visit Scott Manor. She said it's nothing ever done. Every time she goes there, Uncle Mike has not put a dent in anything. She's concerned about Uncle Mike being in charge because basically they're at a standstill. You know what? This is giving very much Chateau Charade, Never Land. Y'all remember when Candy and Phaedra was standing in those sticks? Child out of house the first, honey. And the way that Tisha is driving this car in this driveway is giving very much more manner. Now, I know I'm cross-referencing the shows, but honey, I'm trying to create a visual for those of you that have not seen the episode. So Tisha finally makes it up the mountain. Tisha, you look like a little high school girl. I love this fresh look on you. I love the fact that this season they are not pressured to put on makeup in every scene. You look real. You look casual. You look cute. I like it. So her and Marceau start talking about how Uncle Mike isn't getting the job done, so they may have to make some changes. See, that's why you hire non-family members, because they will know you mean business. See, family like to take you for granted. They like to slack off, and they don't like to do what they're supposed to do. Marceau, you need to stop being cheap. Hire actual contractors. Hire an actual architect. Yes, I know Uncle Mike is an actual architect, but he's not doing anything. Okay, he's playing. And then he all the way in Houston, down here with all the home wreckers and whatnot. Sure. So Tisha tells him about how she went to Mel's gathering, and she's like, I had to tell Mel about these Texas girls. They thirsty for married men, and how I had to snatch you up because I saw someone ironing you. Slow down, low down. Wasn't nobody ironing him. And I know you meant eyeing him. Child, please, nobody looking at no Marceau. Kyra said she was coming out of the restroom and she spoke to him. Then you flew over there out of nowhere. So on behalf of Texas women, honey, we don't want Marceau and his ways. Sis, you are safe. God. So she said, Mel said, she got a DM from a woman saying you were at the club all hugged up. Now, I was actually thinking we are about to get into it as we get into it. So they take a little commercial break and they come back. She was like, oh, yeah. And they said they had pictures and videos. Flashback to Mel waiting for the opportunity to show Tisha something to crack her face. Let me tell y'all something. Mel this season is giving very much misery loves company. And I'm just going to call a spade. Because when they did that flashback, she was talking about her experience with Marceau. And then all of a sudden, Mel was like, well, I wasn't going to say nothing. But girl, look at this. Okay, well, I hate when people do that. Because if you weren't going to say anything, then don't say anything. You were very well going to say something. And you did. Child. She said, the receipts weren't really receipts. It was with you, one of our friends, and another one of our friends. But, they want you to be the cheater and me to be the stupid girl so bad. Baby, well, let me tell you something, Tisha, honey. I don't know about wanting you to be the stupid girl, okay? Because I never want to see a marriage breakup. I don't want to see a black queen getting cheated on and whatnot, honey. That's not what I'm about. But Marceau looked very nervous, if you ask me. In the confessional, she said, they say you look like a liar. What does a liar look like? Honey, the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville. All y'all like to tell a lie. Y'all got a little lying problem. Moving forward. She's like, they don't want us to be great. Child, nobody worried about y'all. I want you to be blissfully blinded till death do you part. Child, goodbye. So then she told him that Destiny and LeBaron got divorced. He goes, well, what did she do? Really? What did she do? Okay. I couldn't talk to him. I just couldn't do it. So then she's like, nothing. He said, well, what could she have done? Whatever it is she did, it must be awful. Listen to me. Marceau is just trolling us at this point. Because it ain't no way y'all can make me believe that he is just letting these things fly out of his mouth. He has to be trolling us. Then he turns around and says, I'm a fan of marriage. Child, okay. But then in the same breath, Tisha asked him to go to therapy and he said, hell no, we won't go. So Tisha's standing there trying to explain and he's not biting. He's like, no, I support you and I'll be in the stands cheering for you, but I ain't going. So then Mel shows up to Destiny's house with a whole watermelon. Honey, only in the South. Child, this is a fool. I guess instead of a lemon squeeze, they're going to have a watermelon squeeze, child. So Destiny invited her over so they could address their issues and also to let her know about the way she was treated at her party. So they go and have a seat and Destiny starts talking about how Mel knows she is and why would you bring this woman? And she felt like she brought Tiffany there to get the shit started. Honey, and did. So then Destiny said, what I didn't like, and then Mel closed her eyes. Destiny was like, open your eyes up when I'm talking to you. Oh, no, ma'am. Honey, you can be speaking to me in that way. Well, that's just me, honey, because I know Mel was being childish, but see, she played those little games with people like Tisha and, other people that may not be able to nuck if you buck. But see, Destiny is on a different level. She'll go toe to toe with Mel, and Mel was not expecting that. But in the same breath, honey, it couldn't be me. So then Mel was like, you don't have to get aggressive. You can lower your tone. So Destiny said, that's just me. I hate when people use that's just me. Okay, calm your behind down ASAP before you see who I just am. I'm just saying. So they're both talking about these different sides to them, and you ain't seen my other side, and you ain't seen my other side either. Well, come on, punks jump up to get beat down. Honey, they ain't say all that, but y'all know I like to put a little zhuzh on it. So, are y'all gonna fight or not? That's all I want to know. Are we gonna be throwing hands or wigs, or what are we gonna be doing? China, I'm just playing, honey. I don't condone violence, but it's good for TV. So Destiny said, when I was talking to you, you shushed me and told me to shut up. So Mel starts being childish and laughing and whatnot. And Destiny said, are we going to be grown women or are we going to be high schoolers? Honey, I'll take high school for 200, Alex. Sure. Yeah, Mel, honey. Like I said, this ain't Tisha. All that skinning and grinning, that ain't going to work. So Destiny is trying to express herself, but Mel is on the defense. Of course she would be. Listen, this is the thing. I see both sides. Both of y'all are in the wrong. Okay. Destiny is still upset about Tiffany bringing this Lipton iced tea. Okay. I don't know if it was sweet or unsweetened or if it needed Splendor or whatever. You're upset about the fact that Destiny didn't tell you all her business when it pertained to her marriage, but you were over there spilling your guts because you are an open book for the world to see all over social media and everything else. So you feel like your friendship is one-sided. Destiny, on the other hand, feels like you ambushed her with Tiffany and this tea. So y'all arguing, but y'all not arguing about the argument. Destiny, you definitely interrupted Mel. You definitely set a negative tone at the beginning of your party. When Destiny first got there, you started with, girl, I heard you had something to say to me. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk now. You did all that. So the bottom line is you set the tone, honey, and she ran with it. So Destiny was like, I don't think Mel gets it. So Mel said, I politely asked you to stop. So then Destiny said, well, if that's your recollection of it, okay, Mel. So then Mel said, well, what we should do is just cut this watermelon. And if it's sweet, then we'll be friends. But if it's not sweet, then we won't be friends. Okay, this was a waste of a scene, honey. All this, and they're about to cut this watermelon to see if they're still friends. So after the taste test, is it safe to say that y'all are still cool? Oh, okay, cool, y'all. I'm glad they were able to hash it out for now. Moving forward. Everybody getting together for the M's to celebrate their graduation from 8th grade to high school. Child, that must be the only initial down in Huntsville. Martell, Marceau, Maurice, M this, M that, honey, M&M's. I'm just like, oh, child, Mickey Mouse built a house. I mean, it's just so much going on. I'm like, not all the M's. So everybody hugging, and here comes Miss Wanda. Here comes Miss Wanda, child, the graduation party whisperer. Honey, now y'all know she gets it started at these parties. But I understand she had to come because one of these children, they're her grandchildren. So I understand. So Marceau looks at Miss Wanda's feet, right? He gonna say, oh, you got the white toes. It's a hot girl summer for real. When I tell y'all I hollered at that. Y'all, Marceau is a chauvinistic pig, but he's funny to me. Sometimes, not all the time. So Marceau was like, listen, Tisha, let's make a deal. If your mom is quiet for one full day, then I'll get you that sports car. Girl, not you was window shopping at that dealership with no real commitment. Oh, how dreadful. Moving forward. So Marceau gives the young men a speech. He's speaking his speech, child. He tells them going into high school is a very pivotal time in their life. And to be humble but be cocky. They're Scott men. Honey, please add and don't grow up to be chauvinistic like us. Women have rights as well. Please make sure you add that in. So then Tisha said a little bit of something, and everybody was just going around, all of the rest of the parents and the family, giving them some jewels to take with them into high school. So Kiowa was like, I just cannot believe we were all pregnant at the same time. That is pretty amazing. I love that. I wish my baby could have that. But child, these kids scattered all up and down, all up and through my family, child. One of them is 1, the other one's 21. Honey, it's just a mess. But this was a great special moment, honey, and I love to see it. So then the kids start getting on the party bus and the adults go in to do a little celebrating of their own. And Mel and her boobies arrive. One thing Mel gonna do is put those boobs on display, honey, at a graduation party if she don't do nothing else. And Martell coming too. Child, you know they gonna be on display. Honey, y'all can't tell me nothing different. I know for a fact, allegedly, that Mel, she was getting dressed for Martell, honey, in his tight shirts. So she trying to show him what he missing, honey. You ain't fooling me. You got to look extra zhuzh when a man that you were with in your past life just so happens to show up. So Tiffany and her husband, Louis, they arrive. Maurice said, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to confront Tacky Tiffany. Well, y'all know he didn't say Tacky Tiffany, but I did. So Martell shows up. Happy he got called to sit. Honey, he waving at everybody. Hey, how y'all doing? Martell, just come on in and sit down, child. Oh, my goodness. So Tisha poking all on him. Talking about, oh, look at them biceps and triceps. Tisha. Now, if Marceau was doing all that, honey, you would have a whole meltdown. Please calm down and stop touching this man. Oh, so Martell hugging everybody, Mel and her boobs included, and she trying to act like she ain't like it. Girl, we know you giving it the extra zhuzh that was needed, honey, today with that outfit, child. Okay. In the next scene, Maurice wastes no time, honey, to have a little talk with the lovely couple. He said, look, I heard you mention something about my son, but you should treat minors differently. And also, I want to know if the school told you, because if the school told you that, then I'm going to have a bone to pick with them. Here she go. I'm not sure where we heard it. Girl, just like you wasn't sure if that was destiny. You got a lot of little amnesia. We're going to have to get you checked. Child, I hope they got a doctor on staff over there in Huntsville. Girl, goodbye. So anyway, she's like, I don't know where I got it. Really, lady? So then Kimmie was like, if you had waited till like after the birthday party or anything, or just pulled me to the side, that would have been better. But to me, it's not the information, it was the timing. So her husband chimes in, basically saying Tiffany just be talking and things come up, but it's not with a negative connotation behind it. I'm just trying to figure out why everybody keeps giving this same excuse for her. Lady, are you socially awkward? What makes you blurt things out the way that you do? Honey, do you have Tourette's? Honey, I'm just trying to figure out. Because I don't understand why you keep doing these things and then they backpedal and say, well, she just be talking just to be talking. It ain't negative. Well, the things that you're saying, they're negative. Girl. So while they're talking, honey, Kyle walks in and she's like, I heard you was looking for me. Yeah, here I go. Shout out to Mystical. But she was like, no, I heard y'all were talking about our son. So what was said? And I didn't blame her in that moment. I feel like she should have been privy to that conversation. So now it's them and Tiffany and her husband. So Tiffany starts talking about teenagers making mistakes, blah, 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 blah. Kyle pulled a Kanye when he was up on that stage in front of Taylor Swift. She said, listen, I'm going to let you finish. I hear you, but I don't want my son being looked at negatively. Honey, and I understand that. So then Maurice said, I didn't talk to Kimmie about this. I talked to Kyle because I understand that, it was a mistake. And this is what I have to say to you, Maurice. Honey, you did great by confronting the situation and whatnot over to the side like a grown man would. But why does she need to know that you didn't tell the information to Kimmie? Child, Maurice know how to make Kimmie look crazy, don't he? Honey, that would have been so uncomfortable. So he said, your kid may handle things differently than mine. A lot of people can't handle public pressure. So, some people commit suicide. Child, not public pressure when you had the birds and the bees conversation with him on camera. But the fact still remains he is a child, lady. Okay, get yourself together. You need to keep your mouth on your own kids. So as they're talking, Tiffany is crying. Girl, not you crying and getting overly sensitive when you were upset at Destiny for the exact same thing. What happened to it's my party and I'll cry if I want to? So she said, I thought they were having a healthy conversation about kids and co-parenting. Well, honey, did they edit that out? Because all we saw is you blurt out that he was in the restroom vaping. She said she feels bad that she could have caused him some shame and embarrassment. You should feel bad. He's a kid. He's a child. He's in middle school. You need to watch what you say and think about what you're saying before you say it. Me personally, I think you're upset that you may have embarrassed yourself and your husband, honey. So save the crocodile tears because those are not moving me or fooling me in the slightest. Over on the other side, Mel stirring up some ish, honey, saying, did you give Martell a personal bottle of champagne like you gave me, Marceau? And so Miss Wanda looking like, what? He gave you a personal bottle. Destiny over there like, he ain't give me one. Martell was like, why you didn't give me one? He said, well, I want Mel to be a brand ambassador. So Mel said, Miss Wanda, I just want to know this. What is the issue with him giving me champagne? Miss Wanda said, I don't like it. Honey, his wife should have given it to you. Mel, you know good and well why Miss Wanda got a problem with Marceau giving you that champagne. We all know Marceau got a little crush on Mel. Y'all remember them flirting last season? Miss Wanda know he gets around, honey. So he ain't fooling her, honey. It's not so much Mel Miss Wanda is worried about. She's worried about Marceau because she knows how Marceau can be. So then Mel said, I'm just going to step away for a minute because I ain't got time for the Miss Wanda Chronicles today. So then when she walks away, she goes over there to sit and see what's going on with the other people. Right now, you see a serious conversation is happening. You can tell by the look on their faces. And yet you decided to have a seat. Child, that don't make no sense. So she sits down. She's like, what y'all talking about? Oh, this looks serious. So Maurice was like, yeah, we're talking about monster vaping, that whole situation. Now will be the time for Mel to remove herself because as soon as he said they were talking about that situation, that has nothing to do with you. That's not your child. So you should have gotten up, you and your hat, and removed yourself. Child. So she looks down and sees Tiffany crying. She's like, oh no, are you okay? So you can run up and hug Tiffany in these weaponizing tears. But your good sis Destiny ran to the restroom in embarrassment at her own birthday brunch and you never moved. Then when she came back, all you said was he cheating? I mean, is he a cheater? Child, oh my good. Honey. This is the exact Mel that I remember from season 1. Child, this is a fool. So then Mel starts to speak out of turn yet again. She's like, Tiffany doesn't do things that will hurt people's heart. That's just not who she is. That's not her character. And I've known her for a long time. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Okay, the fact of the matter is she put her mouth on someone else's child. So now she must be corrected. Okay, goodbye, Mel. So Maurice said, okay, well, I don't know her. So ill intent or not, don't speak on my child, period. And that's on what? The Obamas. Now, y'all know he didn't say that, but y'all know I like to shush it up, child. Child, poor Louis sitting there. He's like, you know, well, I apologize from our family to yours. Child, not happy holidays from our family to yours. Boy, goodbye. So then Maurice said, you know, moving forward, we pull people to the side when we have serious information. Honey, not moving forward. Maurice, let me find out. Moving forward. In the restroom, Mel, messy blonde wig wearing behind, talking about the real issue is Kimmie didn't know. You should have never brought something to her that she didn't already get from her husband. Mel, I don't know what they told you to do for this season. I don't know if they gave you a new script. I'm not sure what's happening. But you should not be in the restroom talking about what's happening between Kimmie and Maurice. Child, not you trying to deflect to make her feel better. Baby, Mel this season is giving very much if I'm unhappy, everybody else gonna be. So then Tiffany was like, yeah, you know, I agree, but the general consensus is that I hurt a child and, you know, I need to pull them to the side in the future. Girl, you work for the Chambers of Commerce. Honey, you should know that. Girl, goodbye. So in the confessional, Maurice said, you know, he doesn't feel bad that she's crying. I said what I said and I ain't changing it. And she's seen that actions have consequences. Honey, as she should. He said it involves the kids, so she should know that the parents are going to be involved. Kimmie said you should bring your own business to the table, not ours. Boom. Okay? I really like how things were handled. Good job, Maurice. With the exception of telling them that you didn't tell Kimmie, honey, that was none of her business. So Sadark and his 2010 Trey Songz braids, honey, they show up. Hey, sir, we haven't seen you in a while. And they're all talking or whatnot, and they making fun of Martell in his little bit-toe shirt because he over there talking to Miss Wanda. Here go Mel. Martell, don't let them make you the joke of the day. Now, all while this is going on, Maurice is yelling in the background, Team Hope, Team Hope. This is sickening. Okay, it's really sickening. Y'all really want her to go back with the cheater who has embarrassed her all up and through the town of Huntsville? Oh, okay. So Mel's standing there smiling. Sis, that is not cute. Honey, I'm sure they still messing around. Allegedly. That's why she out there making all these little songs. Girl gone. What are you doing this season? So Miss Wanda starts talking, honey. And you know, when Miss Wanda gets started, honey, it's hard to make her stop. So somebody put a battery in her back and she starts talking to Mel and Martell. Telling them, you know, they should stay together. She loved them together. And Mel knew about the side chick. And Martell knew this. And Mel knew about the coleslaw. So Martell was like, she's not coleslaw. So Mel said, coleslaw is a side. So you telling me you didn't have a side in our marriage? Martell was like, oh, put up the church finger, honey. He was ready to go. She was like, you ain't going nowhere. So Miss Wanda said, I want y'all to reconcile what y'all been doing. Mel said, with somebody that don't give you no respect? So child, Miss Wanda said, yes. Then Miss Wanda starts telling her, no man is perfect, honey, and isn't. But then she said this. This is what she threw me off. She said, you think they gonna give you some respect with 4 kids? Honey, and will? Look at Kiki Wyatt, honey. Sis keep a husband. And she got about 10 kids. Will it be harder? Yes. But you can find a man that will love and respect you, and not only you, but your children as well. Miss Wanda, what are you talking about? So Miss Wanda was like, you still love that man? Child, she was like, what? What you mean? What? Well, honey, you didn't deny it, honey. So she asked Martell, and of course, you know Martell gonna say yeah. So Martell starts talking about Miss Wanda is spitting facts. Child, please. Miss Wanda ain't spitting no facts. The only reason why you saying it is because she said no man will respect a woman with 4 kids. Honey, same old Martell. In the next scene, Martell and his tight shirt and his ankles, they go outside. They're like, what was going on in there? Was she cussing you out? They was like, no, she wasn't cussing me out. So they outside gassing Martell up, saying Mel was Team Holt. Oh, that's so sickening. So then they asked, if you had the chance, would you get back together with her? Here go Martell. You know, yeah, of course we're better together, but, you know, whatever God sees fit. Then they're like, well, is it a hot boy summer? Honey, he ain't never stopped being a hot boy summer. That's why he's on the outside looking in. Honey, he been a hot boy. Baby, you got what I want. Charlie been a hot boy the whole time. Child, goodbye. So then Marcel was like, well, you gonna get a DNA test? Okay, y'all getting a little bit too into it, honey. You know Marcel is not about to get no DNA test. He got the strongest genes on earth. So I'm sure that little boy looked just like him. Moving forward. Miss Wanda on the inside telling Mel to give Martell one more chance. Honey, if you're trying to set this up for a whole reconciliation, honey, just say that. Okay, if y'all trying to just set us up to let us know that y'all about to get back together, just say that, child. And then Mel was like, it's just funny. You want us to be together, but you follow little help on social media telling her how she's beautiful and all this. Here go Miss Wanda. And so what? Miss Wanda is a fool and she too messy for me, child. And that was the end of the episode. I'm not exactly sure what's going to pan out between Mel and Martell, but honey, it's looking like they leaning towards having a whole nother marriage. Child, please, I hope not. Because if you go back to that man after all he put you through and that baby, girl, you a fool. And we've been rallying around you for this whole time for absolutely nothing. Please comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. Did you like it? I think this episode was jam-packed. It was actually really good. I give it a 9. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.